Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. Because the demons requested that Jesus allow them to enter the pigs, the first encounter between Jesus and Satan resulted in Jesus' victory over temptations, as reported in Matthew 4 verses 1 to 11. He continues to demonstrate his authority by invading and subduing two of Satan's main domains, the spiritual realm by exerting control over demons in Matthew 8 verses 28 to 34, and dominion over illnesses and sins by healing a paralytic in Matthew 9 verses 1 to 8. After miraculously calming the storm, Jesus and his disciples continue their journey across the Sea of Galilee. Jesus and his disciples reached the region of the Gadarenes on the opposite side of the Sea of Galilee. As soon as they disembarked, they encountered a strange man, possessed by demons, who dwelled among the tombs and could not be restrained, not even with chains. He was under the control of a legion of demons, screaming incessantly day and night and harming himself with stones. Upon seeing Jesus, he fell down before him and cried out, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you in God's name, do not torment me." Jesus then asked him what his name was, and the demon replied, "My name is Legion, for we are many." Then the demons begged Jesus not to send them into the abyss, but to allow them to enter a nearby herd of pigs. Jesus consented, and the demons left the man and entered the pigs. The legion of demons in the pigs caused them to rush down the cliff into the sea, where they drowned. The pig herders fled and reported the incident in the city and fields. People came to see what had happened and found the formerly possessed man, now clothed and in his right mind, sitting at Jesus' feet. Despite the miraculous liberation, instead of celebrating, they became apprehensive and asked Jesus to leave the region. Unlike the others, the freed man wanted to follow Jesus, but Jesus instructed him to return home and tell the people what God had done for him. Thus, the man testified throughout the city about Jesus' mercy and power. This narrative highlights Jesus' dominion over evil spirits, demonstrating how he can free people from demonic oppression, providing healing and transformation. In the Bible, demons are spiritual beings considered evil and associated with the devil. They are described as agents of evil whose purpose is to cause harm and tempt humanity, opposing divine forces. They are often mentioned as entities that influence and possess people, manifesting through disturbing behaviors and illnesses. Another similar story of liberation is found in Matthew, chapter 17, verses 14 to 18. One day, Jesus and his disciples approached a crowd when a desperate man ran towards them, kneeling before Jesus. He begged for mercy for his epileptic son, who suffered terribly. "Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is epileptic and suffers greatly. Often he falls into the fire or into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him." With compassion, Jesus directed words of rebuke towards that unbelieving and perverse generation, expressing his frustration at their lack of faith. He said, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Bring the boy to me." Thus, the father hurried to bring his son, determined to offer relief to his affliction. Jesus rebuked the demon tormenting the young man, and the evil spirit departed from him. At that moment, a miraculous transformation occurred. The boy, who used to suffer frequent epileptic seizures, was now healed. Intrigued, the disciples questioned Jesus about why they couldn't cast out the demon. In response, Jesus clarified that the limitation was connected to their lack of faith and instructed them, emphasizing that if they had even faith as small as a mustard seed, they would be able to perform extraordinary feats, even move mountains. In this touching story, we glimpse Jesus' deep compassion in healing the demon-afflicted son, revealing the intrinsic importance of faith in the manifestation of miracles. Emphatically, the narrative highlights Jesus' exclusive authority over demonic powers, emphasizing his spiritual supremacy. The triumph of good over evil is emphasized. His power not only breaks spiritual chains but also promotes emotional healing and restores inner peace. Faced with this reality, the pursuit of spiritual protection and refuge in God becomes imperative to resist negative influences and achieve genuine liberation. He encourages us to cultivate resilient faith, recognizing that amidst the shadows, the light of Jesus is the inexhaustible source of hope and redemption. Similarly, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verses 23 to 28, recounts the story of liberation. While Jesus was in Capernaum, a city in the region of Galilee, on a typical Sabbath day, he entered the synagogue accompanied by his disciples. The atmosphere reverberated with the anticipation of those seeking to hear the teachings of the man causing great stir in the region. While Jesus is there, a distressed man, possessed by an unclean spirit, begins to cry out in despair, revealing the spiritual conflict tormenting him. "What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." The onlookers are perplexed by the scene, observing the interaction between the distressed man and the newcomer Jesus. With a serenity contrasting the commotion around him, Jesus sternly rebukes the unclean spirit, commanding it to be silent and leave the possessed man. "Be silent, and come out of him." Tension hangs in the air as everyone awaits the supernatural response. Then, something extraordinary happens. The unclean spirit, as if stirred by an internal storm, emits a shrill cry before leaving the man. The ensuing silence is broken by the amazed whispers of the witnesses. Word spread throughout the synagogue. "What is this? A new teaching delivered with authority even to the unclean spirits. He commands, and they obey him." The news spreads, and Jesus' reputation as a teacher and exorcist grows even further in that region. But have you ever wondered what happens to demons after they are expelled from the body? Have you reflected on why the demons requested Jesus to send them into the pigs? To provide these answers, we first need to know the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, found in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16. The story goes like this. One day, Jesus shared a compelling parable about a rich man and a beggar named Lazarus. The rich man lived luxuriously, surrounded by comfort and wealth, while Lazarus lay at the gate of his house, covered in sores and longing for crumbs from the rich man's plentiful table. Sometimes, the dogs would lick Lazarus's sores. After a while, both men died. Lazarus was carried by angels to the bosom of Abraham, a place of comfort and peace, while the rich man was buried and found himself in Hades, a state of suffering. From his place of torment, the rich man saw Abraham and Lazarus in the distance and cried out, asking Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water to cool his thirsty tongue. Abraham replied, "Son, remember that during your lifetime you received your good things, while Lazarus received bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in agony." Abraham explained that there was a great chasm fixed between them, preventing any crossing over. Concerned for his brothers, the rich man asked Abraham to send Lazarus back to warn them about the fate awaiting them. Abraham refused, pointing out that Moses and the prophets had already provided sufficient guidance. The rich man insisted that if someone from the dead went to them, his brothers would believe and repent. However, Abraham said, "If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be convinced even if someone rises from the dead." This parable emphasizes the importance of recognizing and acting upon spiritual opportunities present in life, as well as warning about the eternal consequences of earthly choices. In the parable, the rich man is led to Hades, a term often interpreted as hell, characterized as a place where the souls of the deceased await judgment. Jesus narrates that the rich man dies and goes to Hades, while Lazarus is taken to the bosom of Abraham. The Bible mentions different locations linked to the punishment of fallen angels, such as Tartarus and Hades, mentioned in the second book of Peter, chapter 2, verse 4, as a place where certain angels are kept in chains of darkness awaiting judgment. In the book of Genesis, in chapter 6, verses 1 to 4, there is a reference to the fallen angels, who abandoned their proper dwelling and were imprisoned. The connection between these locations lies in the idea of punishment and awaiting judgment. Tartarus is mentioned as a prison for the fallen angels, while Hades is a place of waiting for the souls of the deceased. In a narrative in Gadara, before engaging with the herd of pigs, the demons plead with Jesus not to be sent into the abyss. This abyss, or abyssos, can be equated with the term bottomless pit also mentioned in Luke. The context suggests that the demons were concerned about not being sent to the abyss before the appointed time, recognizing Jesus' authority and having knowledge of a future judgment destination. The mention of the abyss suggests a place of confinement or penalty for demonic forces, indicating that the demons were fearful of this imminent outcome. By choosing to send the demons into the pigs, Jesus highlights his prioritization of human life over other forms of life, symbolizing the supremacy of human value, especially over material goods, and visually demonstrating his mastery over demonic forces. According to the precepts of the Old Testament Jewish laws, pigs were considered unclean animals, carrying a connotation that went beyond the physical aspect. Jesus, by choosing to free the possessed man instead of preserving the herd of pigs, evidences his clear preference for human life. This decision not only underscores the importance of spiritual redemption but also highlights the supreme value that Jesus attributes to human existence. The pigs, besides having this spiritual symbolic burden, also played a practical role in the local economy. Their loss would have a direct impact on the community, as they were not only a source of food but also a valuable part of the local economy. Consequently, the reaction of the people after the remarkable transformation of the man was marked by fear, to the point of asking Jesus to leave the region due to concerns about material losses, as the pigs drowned. This prioritization of material goods, symbolized by the pigs, at the expense of valuing the restoration of human life, reveals the tendency of the local inhabitants to place more importance on the tangible than on the transcendental. The story of the man with the pigs in Gadara conveys several lessons, but a central lesson is Jesus' priority for the restoration of human life, evidenced by choosing to free the possessed man instead of preserving the herd of pigs. This narrative highlights the importance of valuing human life above material goods and recognizing Jesus' authority over demonic forces. It invites us to reassess our priorities, seeking a deeper understanding of spiritual importance and the emphasis Jesus places on the redemption and transformation of human lives. I would like to know your opinion on this matter. Please share in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. I also look forward to your suggestions for upcoming videos. See you soon.